Welcome back to part 2 of this Mariculture tutorial. In this video I will explain the basic processing. There is a book for this called Basic Materials and Processing. Just craft yourself one of those to get some additional information from the mod author. So the first thing you're going to need is the vat. This interacts with Buildcraft fluid pipes as well as thermal expansion. In fact, this whole mod is really designed to work with thermal expansion really well. So bear that in mind when installing. I highly suggest that you have thermal expansion installed. So the vat, you're going to need this block or machine to get the materials to craft the basic machinery within the mod. Namely burnt bricks, so that's what I'm going to focus on here. So if we get some nether brick and clay brick, as you can see here, clay bricks will take 1000 millibuckets of lava and take 16 seconds to craft, and nether bricks will do half that. So if we pump some lava in and get our clay brick, and then all we do is right click the bricks into the vat. You can put up to 63 in here, and once the vat is satisfied you'll start seeing these particle effects to see that it's working, and it will take 16 seconds per brick to get yourself a burnt brick. And again, these bricks are used for a few recipes. Another thing is you can pipe out the items, although if the brick isn't complete it will take, in this case, the nether brick out, but you can also pipe stuff into the vat. While that's cooking away, I'll show you that you can have a multi-block structure vat up to 4. Obviously holds more liquids, and I'll show you later on down the line what that is useful for. So once 16 seconds has passed, if you right click the vat you'll get the result. Okay, so that's the first material that you can make with these vats. So the burnt bricks that we crafted earlier are used primarily for the Crucible Furnace, which is a multi-block structure, and you simply stack it up and it will complete like that. Now these furnaces will take solid fuels, coal, charcoal, coal coke, any wood type, and what you'd need to do is start heating the furnace up with your chosen fuel, and then place your ores in top. This will double your ores, and as you can see here, a copper ore has a melting point of 1085 degrees. So these things do take time to heat up, and they also actually take quite a long time to cool down. So when the Crucible Furnace hits its desired temperature to melt the ore that you're melting, the most basic way to extract this liquid is with a ladle. If you shift right click the furnace, you'll get some molten copper in your ladle, and then build yourself an ingot caster and right click to start filling it up. As you can see there, the liquid's in the bottom. Shift and then right click, shift, right click, and then just right click the caster once it's solidified to get your ingot. If you do this fast enough, there we go. You can pipe out of the caster. Just demonstrate. I think I might have a demonstration down the line somewhere. Yep, I have, with a hopper. but I'll show you that with a Buildcraft pipe or thermal expansion. In fact, we'll do thermal expansion because I mentioned it earlier. Get some item ducts and get a chest. Get a crescent hammer. Just give that some liquid. Once it's cooled, it should pipe out. And there we go. Now, solid fuels are not the most efficient way to heat up or keep a crucible furnace stocked, because if you do remove the fuel, it will cool down, obviously. So other types of fuel that you can add is fuel from Buildcraft, oil from Buildcraft, I think there's pyrotheum, blazing pyrotheum, which is from thermal expansion, liquefacted coal, which is also from thermal expansion, good old lava, and natural gas, which is its own Mariculture's own world gen. Again, I'll explain how to harvest this in the diving video. So each liquid has its own efficiency. As you can see here, fuel will heat up 80 degrees in the furnace per 16 millibuckets of liquid. Oil will do 48. Pyrotheum, blazing pyrotheum, I keep forgetting the name, will do 128, which is the best, I might add. Liquefacted coal does 8, lava does 32, and natural gas will do 64. Now I've had these running for a while. As you can see, this furnace is using the least amount of fuel and keeping it up to maximum temperature. All these liquids will keep it up to 2K. But if you look at the tops there, it's using different amount of fuels once they've reached that temperature. The best being obviously natural gas. So let's do a bit more pipe talk. You can pipe into these furnaces if you place a fluid tank underneath your furnace from the fluid tank from Mariculture, and simply pipe your liquids into it, and the furnace will use that liquid to heat up itself. You can also pipe out your molten liquids by using thermal expansion or Buildcraft, and again it will pipe into an ingot caster and solidify. Just simply right click. Also, like I showed earlier with the pipes there, piping out, if you put a hopper underneath your ingot caster, once they solidify, it will just hop them into an adjacent chest. The final way to get your molten liquid out of a crucible furnace is to build yourself a empty bottle specifically made by Mariculture. This, as you can see, holds twice the amount of liquid as a normal glass bottle, but you're going to need some hardened or heat resistant glass because of the molten liquid. Now, to get heat resistant glass, you're going to have to mix two different liquids into a vat. I'm just going to shrink this down, and if we take a look, we're going to need quicklime and molten aluminium, and we get quicklime from limestone. So there it says we need 1 millibucket. So if we get some limestone from Mariculture, only Mariculture's limestone will melt down. So we get some there, it tells you the melting point. Anything that will go in the crucible furnace, as long as the crucible furnace's inventory is open and you hover over an item in any eye, it will tell you its melting point and how much liquid it will give you once melted. So if we put the limestone in, so if we let that melt down into 1000 millibuckets, which is 1 bucket, and pour that into this vat, now all we need to do is add, I think it's aluminium, and you can use any aluminium. It states in the processing book that it's just 1 nugget. So I'll get back to you on that when that's melted. Okay, so that's almost complete. There we go, we pipe it straight out. And now all we need to do is add a piece of glass to the vat, and it will start working. And there we go, heat resistant glass. And then you use that to make your empty bottles, and if you put that into a crucible furnace, it will fill up with the molten liquid. So each machine in this mod has the ability to be upgraded. These 3 slots here are your upgrade slots. These crucible furnaces will take a hyperkinetic upgrade, which is 4 tiers: basic, standard, advanced and ultimate. And it will also take a storage upgrade, which has the same tier system. So if we place an ultimate, it will speed up the process in which the machine operates, as you see there. And if we place a storage, you can see currently we have 20,000 millibuckets. If we put the storage in this slot, it goes up to 35. Also these upgrades will stack, so if we put another one in, it increases it to 50. And if we put 2 hyperkinetics in, it will speed it up even further. Also, this tab here, you have some redstone control, which is similar to thermal expansion, and you have a button that will auto eject items and fluids, or both. So the final thing I want to show you is the production of your titanium. So what you'll do is, if you smelt down your rutile ore, you'll get an impure titanium liquid. If you turn that into ingots, the next step would be to get some limestone and melt that down in the crucible furnace, and you'll want to output that into a multi-block vat, and then I'll let that complete and I'll get back to you. So once that's completed and been output into the vat, all you have to do now is just add some water, and once the vat receives enough water, it will start smoking. Like so. Just deactivate the water, and this process will get you some Magnesiish dust, Magnesiish, like that. Now you take this dust and you process it as well in a crucible furnace. I'm going to turn the output off, and it will give you some magnesium. Now you turn that into ingots, and then you place your magnesium and your impure titanium, and that will get you some titanium. Lovely. And that's it for part 2. Again, if any information here was helpful, please leave a like, and if any information was incorrect, please let me know and I'll get it changed as quickly as I can. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.